Amplify your message, magnify your impact, and excel your marketing. In tonight's episode with yours truly, your host, Vanessa Zamy, and our lovely guest expert, Jessica Sato. We will be talking about how you can effectively say what you really want to say with a crowd glued to every word. As a business owner, you may be looking for partners or more collaborations with local community members. You may be looking to get investors into your third business. You may be looking to tell your marketing director how to do better because you see those posts they're doing and you're thinking, is this my business? So before we get into how to fix that, how to solve for that, and how to ensure that you are amplifying your message, magnifying your impact, and excelling your marketing, I know some of you are likely new. So before we get to nitty gritty, just a quick little short message for you.
Welcome to Entrepreneurship is a Marathon, a podcast about how you can grow a profit-producing, purpose-driven business without burnout. We don't need more people starting businesses. We need more people continuing. Each week, we'll deliver the latest and greatest tips, tricks, and strategies for you to revive, grow, and scale your business. Now, here's your host, consultant, professor, and the business defibrillator, Vanessa Zamy.
Yes, we are here to amplify your message, magnify your impact, and excel your marketing with our special guest, Jessica Sato. Yes, indeed. So, you're probably, why does this matter, right? This matters with all your messaging, not only if you're speaking, not only if you're doing workshops or pitching, not only if you're in social media, not only with like video and your lives, your reels, your TikTok, whatever it may be. Tonight, learn more about how to really leverage, right, your message, your ideas to really then excel in your marketing and magnify your impact. As always, though, in every episode, we start out with a beautiful, crucial question. And what is that question, folks? What is your win of the week? What has been your win of the week? It is only Tuesday night that we do our lives. So last 7 days, though. Last 7 days. Or maybe you already have a win for the past 24 hours. What has been your win of the week from the last 7 days? It could be personal. It could be business. It could be a combination. We'll start with our guest, Jessica. What has been your win of the week?
My win of the week is I have written all of my blog posts for the month of October. So and the social media that goes with it.
Awesome. Isn't that a win, folks? That is definitely a win. Yes. What has been your win of the week? Type it in the comments. Even if you're watching a replay, I want you to type it in there. What has been your win of the week? I know a lot of you watch the replays. So what has been your win of the week? My win was that essentially did an in-person presentation last week. So it's where, I'm a speaker in the speaker networks. I've done a lot of virtual for obvious reasons during the pandemic, and now getting back into in-person on stage. And it really is just teaching in person. And it was a women in business group too, so small business owners, and it was great. The topic was on marketing strategy, efficiency, and balance, just making marketing seamless. It was a whole thing. But 100% of them, so I do a feedback form at the end of the workshops, right? 100% of them agreed that the workshop was engaging, interactive, and insightful. Yes. And those are 3 different separate questions that I asked them. So I'm feeling really great. That's been my win of the week. Yes. But enough about me. Why are you here? You're here because Jessica Sato is the founder and CEO of Jessica Sato Consulting, a business strategy and coaching firm that helps female business owners build profitable, purpose-driven businesses using their big ideas, vision, and voice to sell with confidence. For the last 3 years, Jess has also served as a TEDx Breckenridge Speaking Coach and was the speaker director for the inaugural TEDx Franklin in 2022. So she spends her time helping a lot of people, right, in getting that messaging clear with their voice. Okay. And because ultimately at the end of the day, you're marketing, you're posting online, or your team is marketing for you, right? Your marketing person is posting online for you. They're sharing that content. Why speaking, Jess? And why speaking? Why messaging through voice?
Great question. Well, I don't think there's any substitute, right? I mean, a lot of people are looking for thought leadership. They're looking for people to listen to, follow, learn from. And while, for example, I love speaking, just like you, I love it. It's a big part of my own business. but there's also something about writing. And so I think finding the mechanism for you and, is really important. And I think also, when I look at effectiveness of communicating ideas, I find that interaction, especially that live interaction, like when you were talking about, being in the room, speaking to a group of people, there's just no substitute for that. No video can do that. No writing can do that, right? Like there's a thing that happens when you're in the space together and you're communicating from the heart. It's just, there's no substitute for it.
I love it. I love it. Yes, yes, yes. There really isn't a substitute for it, right? And it's all just a matter of different forms of communication. But ultimately, if you're finding yourself, so I'm also a professor as well too. And today was the first class of the new quarter, so a new crop of students here to experience Professor Zamy. And something that we talked about in the class was that, what I emphasized for them in that day one of class was ultimately that, there are different forms of marketing. Yeah. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, any point in time, you are, sharing your message, right? You're sharing the impact you're trying to have in order to influence people to do something of some sort that is positively impacting you and your bottom line in your business. And we have here, take a little steady break here. We'll celebrate a win with a viewer. So when she shares, my one was finally finishing a book I was reading. Yes. Yes. How many of you have not finished any books yet since you were reading? Maybe you're the, read the first chapter and then leave it to the side person. But yes, that's definitely a win, right? So finishing that book. Now, when it comes to so now we're talking about messaging through voice, right? And so maybe you're the person who's posting online. Maybe you've thought about, okay, I have my 2-3 brick and mortar businesses set up, and now I want to, be in the community, not necessarily as a politician, but as some person who's using their voice, right? Or maybe you're thinking about, I want to do more partnerships or collaborations with people. Guess what? That involves speaking out loud, right? So what are some common mistakes, Jess, that you have found that people make or maybe common mistake, maybe it's just one thing that you find people make when they are looking to amplify their message and magnify their impact?
Honestly, I think it comes down to not really knowing what you want to say. And I don't mean that like in a technical kind of way. I mean, I think there is something to really being able to articulate your ideas. But at the end of the day, when I talk to a lot of business owners, there's this question that is left in my mind. And it's like, what do you stand for? What is the thing that you really want to say? And if I think about this, in like TEDx vernacular, what is your big idea? What is the thing that you really want to put into the world that you want to kind of rest on? And, we all have big ideas. We all have things that we care about, that we're passionate about, and yet it gets muted in sort of the marketing speak. It gets muted by us worrying about what other people will think if we say X, Y, or Z, if we take a stand on this particular issue or what have you. So I find that if business owners want to be effective, they need to know what their big idea is. And I think, for a lot of people, they think about, oh, well, I don't really have any big ideas. I think that's the second problem, right? We don't think our idea is big enough, or the thing that we care about is big enough, or that it matters in whatever business space we happen to be. But I find that, at the end of the day, if we all just were focused 100% on our business messaging, there's nothing to differentiate us. It's the stuff below the surface. It's the things that you care about. It's the things you're passionate about. It's the values that you uphold. It's the thing that you think needs to be said but isn't being said, right? All of those things matter, and that becomes sort of the fodder for formulating what your big ideas are in the world. So I think not knowing what your big idea is, not knowing or not being willing to say what you want to say, those are probably the two biggest mistakes I see business owners making.
Not knowing your idea and not knowing what you ultimately want to say, right? Because if you don't know your idea, then you don't know essentially what you want to say, right? And I think about this for like my clientele, mainly like brick and mortar business owners, right? So that's restaurant, bar, store, front, salon, shop, etc. And it's one of those things where, you may think to yourself, oh, it's just a salon, or it's just a clothing boutique, or it's just a this, or it's just a that. But chances are that there is a reason why you started that, right? You didn't just start your own clothing line just to start your own clothing line, right? You didn't just, develop this salon 10 years ago and buy that store just to develop your salon and buy that store, right? There's definitely a message in there. And what I find a lot, though, with these clients is that they forget the messaging, right? At some point in time, the messaging got lost in all the hullabaloo of trying to keep their business together and, survive through recessions and pandemics and all the things. And so the message got lost. So it's like, not so much it's lost, it got sort of stomped on way down, deep,
for sure,
in the spirits of the soul, but it's there. It just takes some getting it out there and then making it clear. We're going to get into that after this quick little break. How can you ensure that you are getting clear on that big idea and reconnecting with that big idea? Because there is a bigger vision within you and you know it. And so it's time for you to accept that. I was just talking to a client about that. She's been in business for 12 years and there's still more to come. And we were talking about that earlier today, right? So it doesn't matter whether you're, early stage or you're mid stage, okay? It is a problem that many entrepreneurs and business owners face, where it's, what is that big idea that Jessica was saying, right? What is that thing, that message that you're really trying to say? You're not just trying to say, oh, I had this salon or I had this bar. There's something more behind there, right? And maybe it's just, I had this spot for this community, whatever. But we'll talk about that more in terms of how do you get that going after this quick break.
If you're a storefront business owner, salon owner, or brick and mortar shop owner, including a cafe, home decor, furniture, or clothing boutique, then listen up. We have some incredible discounted workshops at vzamy.com for our podcast listeners to help you increase your sales by 50%. If you are looking for more tips on reviving your business, make sure to visit our website, vzamy.com. That's vzamy.com. To register for our upcoming business growth workshop on staff management, financial management, and time management. It's your time to revive, grow, and scale your shop so you can go on that vacation and still have your shop thriving. Visit vzamy.com. That's V for Vanessa, Z for zebra, A for animal, M for money, Y as in yes.com. Visit vzamy.com for more details.
Yes, we are back here with Amplify Your Message, Magnify Your Impact, and Excel Your Marketing with special guest Jessica Sato. Yes. TEDx extraordinaire. I'll say, put it out there anyway. And also a business coach and consultant as well to female business owners looking to build their profit-producing, purpose-driven business, which is that a phrase that was in your bio? Or a phrase that I put in your bio? I don't know. Bios use that phrase. But anyway, with that being said, maybe I just put that in your bio. But ultimately, you said profitable. That's what you said, profitable. I said profit-producing. Okay, cool. With that being said, though, we're here with special guest Jessica Sato, who is sharing some great nuggets with us here on the episode of Entrepreneurship is a Marathon. And right before the break, we were just talking about the common mistake, right, that a lot of business owners are making, right, when trying to share their message through words or even online, right? When you think about how do you share your message? Let's say you're trying to get some new partnership. Let's say you're trying to sell your business. Let's say you're trying to, get investors for another business. Let's say you're trying to hire people into your business, right? And how do you get people tied around your business and your message and what you actually stand for? So we're talking about, Jessica was mentioning, what were the two main points, Jessica?
Well, people don't know what their big idea is, and they don't. And even if they do know what it is, they're not always willing to say what it really is. And, if I think about business owners and, building partnerships, all these opportunities that you had just mentioned, getting new partners, building new businesses, creating new collaborations, people are drawn to and want to work with people who share similar values, who we can connect with on a deeper level. And so if you never say what you really want to say, and I'm not talking about, being politically incorrect and being, inappropriate. I'm talking about at the core, what is it that you stand for as a business owner, right? Like I think about myself and really wanting to make sure that when I see something in my own industry, and there's a lot happening in the online coaching industry, there's a lot happening in online marketing that I do not agree with, right? I think it's really important for us to take a stand because it helps people know what we're all about. It helps them know whether or not we are the right fit for them and vice versa. And so I think being willing to do the work to figure out what is your big idea, what is the thing that you care about? What is, your take on an issue that's happening in the world, that's happening in your industry, and using that as part of your messaging, all of those pieces matter. And then once you've figured those pieces out, then you get the opportunity to say what they, what they really are, right? I mean, the mantra I have is say what you want to say, because it's the thing that will set you apart.
I love it. I love it. You just remind me of the dating world where I'm just like, can I just get someone who says what they mean and mean what they say?
Yes.
That's all, Guess what? Your
Yeah.
customers are looking for the same thing. Okay. So keep that in mind, right? What is your big idea? And so now let's say someone is sitting there and they're like, okay, I have my big idea. What next? Or actually, no, before then, there's someone's like, what is that core of my idea? How do I really dig deep, right? And get to this idea and really understand what is it that I'm really mean to say? Do you have any 2 to 3 like tips and tricks?
Yeah, great question. So I like to start with people thinking about what are they really passionate about, right? Most of us started our businesses for a reason. They didn't just, come from nothing. So, what are you really passionate about? I like to get people thinking about their domain of expertise, right? We all have credibility in different spaces. And so figuring out the marriage between those two buckets, and then also looking at, what's an unmet need in the world, in your local community, right? And when we say world, I mean, it really could be in your little town. It could be in your big city. It could be on a global or national level. But you bring these three pieces together, right? You bring these three pieces together, and that's where you start to kind of get to that sweet spot. You start to see what is resonating, where some of that vibration comes from. And then you're looking at what's happening around you. So like I said, I think sometimes for business owners, we start and we kind of get the core, but then we look at what's happening in our industry. We look at things that we really care a lot about. For example, having a high degree of integrity, saying yes to only the right people or the right fit clients, right? There's a lot of things that go into sort of those core values as a business owner. So when you know what you're passionate about, when you know where your expertise lies, and when you're really starting to address unmet needs in whatever industry you happen to be in, that becomes a really powerful spot to be in, because now it's not just you talking about something you're passionate about, even though there's nothing wrong with that. It now comes with some weightiness, right? You are an expert in this field. It's something that you care a lot about, and it's something that needs to be said. So I sort of like to think of it as a little bit of a Venn diagram, if we're going back to our math days, right? Venn diagram, bring it all the pieces together and kind of get that sweet spot right in the middle.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And it's like one of those things where it really is like that sweet spot, right? So what is your sweet spot, folks? What is your sweet spot? Type it in the comments. Let us know, what is your sweet spot. If you need some resources to help you with that sweet spot, JessicaSato.com, SATO.com. So hop on her website for more resources and more tips. She's always posting blogs. Like she said, she already got all of October ready, right? So she has some blogs already for you, right? And helping you to navigate, like, what at the core are you saying? Now, let's say you're at the space where you already you're like, okay, I know my big idea. I know my core message, right? And so you're like at the stage of, like, for example, my different core message. Well, so it's all around like hustling is unnecessary when it comes to entrepreneurship. That's really what
Amen, sister.
But ultimately, that's my core message, right? But keeping in mind, though, that reminds me of what Jessica was saying about, what is that differentiator? Kind of think of it like a differentiator in your business when you think about marketing, right? What is a differentiator? Or the niche, they may say, right? But even as a brick and mortar business, thinking about, it could even be just within your local community. It doesn't have to be like, how am I different across the whole entire world, across the whole globe, right? But even within your local community, what is your differentiator? Why should people come to you versus the other salon or shop or whatever it is that's down the street, right? What makes you special? That's another way to think about it. What makes you special? Okay. And maybe it's you. Oh yes. Continue, Jessica.
Yeah. And if I could just add really quick, because I think that's the key, right? If you look at the surface, most of us have businesses that are relatively similar, right? We offer similar products and services. You look at a salon, there's a million salon owners. You look at a restaurant, there's a million restaurants, right? Those things, we all need to be clear on the work we do and who it's for and who's an ideal fit for whatever business we happen to have. But it's the stuff below that, right? That's the stuff that people care about, right? If I think about a business owner who is really passionate about serving, locally sourced, organic, stuff in their restaurant, there's a reason behind that, right? That is part of the differentiation, right? So it's getting a little bit below the surface and then being willing to talk about it and to say why you care about it and to champion things that come as a result of it, or things that you see in the market that you're like, oh, I don't like that. I don't think we should be doing that, right? That's the stuff, right? So when I say what you want to say, that's what I'm talking about, because most of us do in fact know what those things are, but we are tempering. I think you said earlier, we're like smashing it down, right? We're smashing it down. We're just not saying the things that are really important and that actually matter in our businesses.
Yeah. That reminds me of the song, say what you need to say.
Exactly.
Let me have you two come after me. I'll be like, you sang too much of the song, X. Okay, but anyways, so let's say someone has their big idea. They understand their message. They understand what it is that they want to say, right? What next, right? What comes next? What next for them? Like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think you think about where that message is going to be received, and that's not to always just put yourself in like happy-go-lucky places, but if you think about your clientele and the people who are going to really resonate with that message, you start to put it out there in the way they can hear it. So I think about my own clients, like, yes, they like video, but they know that I'm a blogger, so I write a lot of blogs, and like people really like that, and I am saying what I want to say in that space. So I think really being strategic about where you need to be, where is your audience. I mean, this is like classic business growth stuff, right? But putting yourself and your message out there in ways that people can receive it. So speaking, social media, blogs, articles, podcast guest, there's tons and tons of avenues for you to be able to put your stuff out there. I think the key is just being willing to do it. Because let's be honest, it's not always comfortable, especially if you're starting to say something that's a little bit contrary, if it's a little bit controversial. Even if the intent is not to be, kind of to stir it all up, it still can be uncomfortable. And so I think knowing going in that you need to say it, and that you saying it allows people to draw a line in the sand, either with you or, I don't want to say against you, but they kind of opt out. I think that's goodness at the end of the day.
It is a really great news, at the end of the day, it is not everyone's going to like you. There are 8 billion people in the world. Not everyone's going to like you.
That's right.
And everyone needs to like you. Not everyone needs to like
Amen.
you. It's just, that's all it is. All right. So it's understanding like, where is your stick in the sand, right? What is your message? And I think what you talked about a little bit, Jessica, was having the confidence and then share that, right?
Yeah,
and it's easier said than done. But it's ultimately, right, I remember in my beginning of my business journey, I was like, so I can only imagine there are definitely a lot of times when, if you're 10, 15 years in business, 12 years in business, and it's thinking about, do you have all these connections, and it's like, okay, what would they say if I say this? Like, ooh, like, it's a little bit like stirring the pot. It's like, ooh, what if I say this? People won't like me. They might not come to my store anymore. Like, yeah. And so there is also some of that level of security and safety as well too. But you need to understand there will be people who agree with you, right? There will be people who agree with you, and it's finding out where they are and how to get them all together. Yes.
Yeah.
And so in terms of like getting them all together, so then they can be your fans. Watch the episode from last week, episode 438, on number 1 way to increase your client retention. With that being said, though, Jessica, thank you so much for being here with us this evening. How can people reach you?
Probably the easiest is to go just directly to my website, jessicasato.com, but I'm on all the social channels under Jessica Sato Consulting. So yeah, if this is an area that you're like, oh, I don't know how to figure out what my big idea is, let's chat. It's not as hard as you think it is. Indeed.
Jessica Sato, that's Jessica with 2 S's, Sato, S-A-T as in Tiger, O.com. Yes. So feel free to check her out there. Check out the website. Connect with Jessica on LinkedIn, Facebook,
and Instagram.
Instagram. Yes. Fantastic. Yep. Lovely. And so if you didn't already tell, right, this show is not only about a story behind the business owner, but also lessons and action items to keep you moving forward in your community business. We're all about equipping and empowering you as a business owner through education. And if you're saying to yourself, well, Vanessa, can you be on my team, my strategic business advisor? Then I'll say, let's talk about it. So you can hop on at power.vzamy.com as well too. You're welcome to check that out. Let's partner together to shock your business back to life. Thank you, Jessica, for joining us here this evening. I'm going to just remove from the screen. Now, chat with you. Stay in the back room.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So we had a lovely episode here with Jessica. And if you're saying to yourself, you want me on your team as a strategic business advisor, then by all means, feel free to reach on out, power.vzamy.com. We have more experts who will be coming and joining us over the next couple of weeks. So we have Amber Frelin on authenticity next week. What to do if no one is responding to you, right? Let's say you think to yourself, I do have this message. I am sharing it. It is amplified, and yet it's not amplifying, right? Let's say you are a business owner. You are 11 years in business. You decide to hire that marketing agency. You decide to hire your, teenage child. It's to help you out with your marketing and you're still not getting those results for some reason, then tune in to next week's episode with our guest Amber on what to do if no one is responding. Week after that, we have Marsha Dasco on the real pivot on how to effectively pivot in your business. We're approaching, kind of still in this pandemic, not in this recession thing. It's a whole thing that's happening. And so you're probably thinking about what next, what to do, how else, all the things. We're going to be going in with Marsha and myself. We're going to have a conversation on the real pivot. And we have even more guests to come as well, too, including some of your peers. We got some local business owners who will be coming on to join us on this show so that we can share their story, promote them in helping you to ensure that you are continuing your business. I mean, we have business owners been around for 30 years. Okay. You think this recession is bad. All right. Listen, she's been through it. All right. We have a business owner who's joining us as well in the artist space as well too. And so a lot of business owners joining us. And so if you know someone who should be tuning in, by all means, feel free to send me a separate message. You can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn and just say, hey, I know of a great business owner down the street from me. Think we should highlight their business. Okay. And so whether that's a salon, a bar, a restaurant, a shop, a boutique, whatever it may be, feel free to send them my way and I'll be happy to connect with them to see what makes the most sense. We also have more guest experts coming on. In summary, just stay tuned. That's it. Stay tuned. Mark your calendars for every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you are on YouTube, I want you to scroll to the bottom where you see that big red subscribe button. Click the subscribe button. Subscribe for updates. Yes, you want to subscribe for updates. Okay. And if you're watching on Facebook and LinkedIn, let us know what you thought about the episode. React at the bottom. Give us a love. Give us an applause. Let Jessica know. Show her some love, folks. She is a fellow business owner just like you. Okay. Show her some love. Say, yes, I love the insights. There's a little clap applause thing on LinkedIn. There is a insightful little light bulb on LinkedIn as well, too. If you're on Facebook, give a little care emoji, or the heart emoji. Let us know what you thought about this episode. And feel free to type in the comments any questions that you have. We definitely read those comments. So with that being said, if you're a local community business wishing you were experiencing explosive growth, you're welcome to reach out to me. If you are looking for more additional tips and tricks on your big idea and your messaging, reach out to Jessica Sato at jessicasato.com. And with that being said, anything else I would like to share? Anything else I need to share? I think that's about it. I think right now we're just going to call it a good, great night. And with that being said, you have a lovely, lovely, abundant rest of week.
Thanks for joining us this week on Entrepreneurship is a Marathon. If you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or Spotify, or if you'd simply tell a friend about this episode. And if you are looking for more tips on reviving your business, make sure to visit our website, vzamy.com. That's vzamy.com. To register for our upcoming business growth workshop on staff management, financial management, and time management. It's your time to revive, grow, and scale. Visit vzamy.com. That's V for Vanessa, Z for zebra, A for animal, M as in money, Y as in yes.com. Visit vzamy.com for more details.